Welcome once again to the Theater Professor vidcast. My name is Terry Dana Jakimiak II, and I am the Theater Professor. And I know I'm looking really scruffy this week. Ugh. And that's because it has been way too busy and way hard to keep track of things. Just to give you an idea, I'm teaching an intro to theater class. I'm designing for a theater academy down in Pittsburgh, designing another show for a company in the area. So it's extremely busy, but I felt like I hadn't made a video in a while, and it was time to get back on air. And so we're going to be putting one up this week. Now, this video is actually going to be a request. We had a commenter on the YouTube video recently, Frisian Goran, say, "Hey man, I really like your videos, and I'm a young artist. I have a few video requests. How do you add stuff like a backpack, a hat, a ring, essentially accessories? Also, when I tried to draw an angel, but I had trouble with making the wings, could you perhaps make a tutorial about making wings?" Well, that's what we're going to do this week for you, Frisian Goran. We're going to talk about accessorizing, and we're going to be using the Croaky character that we created during the Croaky tutorial. If you haven't watched the Croaky tutorial, make sure you go back and check it out. We're also going to look at how to add wings to that character. Now, this is going to be a full frontal character today, so I'm not going to be doing any side views, but hopefully this will kind of help you out a little bit, Frisian, in regards to creating this. For those of you that are new to our videos, make sure you go back and check out all the other ones that we've done, because they're kind of, they lead into each other. And also, if you haven't already, stop by thetheaterprofessor.com and sign up for our mailing list. It's probably the best way to keep track of what's going on with the Theater Professor. And come next week when this class is over, not my video class, but the class that I'm teaching for the college I teach at, I'm going to have a little more time. I'm going to put together a few more vidcasts all together so that I can kind of put them out on a more regular basis. All right, my name's Terry Dana Jakimiak. This is the Theater Professor, and I'm going to continue on with our next vidcast. All right, so here we are. This was a character that we created earlier in the series. I believe we named her Jane. She was lovely to work with. A lot of fun, very, very easy. But on a serious note, we're going to actually use her to create some of the things that were requested, the accessories and wings. Now, one of the things that I'll tell you when you're first beginning out is to do a little research and figure out exactly what you want to add on to the character. So we're looking at our character right now, and for example, maybe some bracelets, maybe a necklace. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll come over to my web browser, or one of my web browsers, and not be on my WoW forums, and just do a Google image search of, let's try bracelets. Bracelets. Click a go, and hit images. We'll get some ideas for some bracelets. She seemed like she was pretty high class. I would not call her a lower class chick. Some of these are really kind of cool. I think I'm gonna pull this one. And again, just like before, I'll view image, press and hold. We'll save image, saved it to my photo folder. Go back. Let's see if there's maybe some dangly ones might be nice. Let's see. No, come on. Come on, internet. Work with me, not against me. And the internet has decided to slow down. So actually, ooh, these are cool. Every once in a while in my spare time, I'll create my own jewelry. I actually have jewelry making supplies. But I haven't really had the time. So, and then let's look at maybe a pendant. Pendant Crockett, king of the wild frontier. Let's see if we got some. Oh, wow, some really nice ones come up on the first page. I think this one is really cool. And so we're going to view image, and we will add that. Okay, so we've got a couple of accessories, okay? And like we've done before, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer here, and I'm going to import a couple of those photos. Let's import this one. We'll set that one right there. We'll import this one, and we can reduce the size of that. I love having research available for me to look at. It makes things so much easier when I actually get into drawing. And then I'm going to create, I'm actually going to take those 3 items, and we're going to combine them into one layer. You don't have to. It's easier for me that way. Then I'm going to add another layer, and this is the layer I'm going to draw on top of. So I'm going to grip that. I'm going to pull it down to right above my pencil sketch. Now, one of the things I noticed on my picture when I was beginning to look at how to adjust this is there's some things that I really didn't like. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to go on to the outline layer. Ooh, too much. Too big. Let's bring that down a little bit. I'm just going to erase a little bit of this. I felt like her neck was way too big here. I got to go into the color layer as well. And erase some of the, oops, and I've gone too far. There we go. And then I'm going to come in here. I'm going to grab that color. Switch to, we'll leave it on round brush, bring it way down, and fill in some stuff here. There we go. Now our neck doesn't look so freaking huge. I have the neck of a giant! And she almost did. We'll come over here and grab the pencil tool that I like to use to draw. Oops, undo, forgot, I had that really big. Come to the pencils. There we go. Now her neck doesn't feel so ginormous. The neck of infinity. Now I have these bracelets, and there's a couple of things I can do. It depends on how quickly you need to add these accessories to the person. Obviously, one way is to use your source images and then to draw based on them. And as you see here, I'm in my pen tool. I'm going to bring this over here. I'm actually going to switch this to this layer, and I want to move it so I can, no, I don't want to move. Actually, we're going to move it underneath. There we go. And now we can move it so I can kind of get it really close to her wrist. And if I wanted to, I could make it smaller, but I'm going to use my image there. Ooh, sorry about that. I'm going to use my image there, and I'm going to just start to draw a little bit using that as a basis. Now, remember, you know, obviously this is not at the same angle as her wrist. And, you know, if you're really in a, you know, a time crunch, you could actually put it on her like this, and this could be fun. I'm going to show you about like that. Now the problem, obviously, you see some of it is on top, and or it goes underneath completely. So what you would actually have to do is you need to duplicate this layer. And I'm actually going to duplicate it twice. I'm going to turn that one off. Take this, move it on top of, and then we're going to do a lot of erasing, because we don't need a lot of that. And all this will start to come to you here in a second. You'll start to understand what I'm doing as I erase. Oops, too far. I've got my brush set really big to try and get rid of as much as I can. So we're getting rid of that one completely, and we want to get rid of this one completely. Looks like I didn't quite get it on this one, so we come up here. Then I'm gonna reduce this, and again, this is just one way of doing it, and this is the quick way. If you're doing this specifically for costume design in theater, or you're just trying to show a mock-up of something so someone can kind of get a sense of what you're creating. I'm still erasing right now, okay? This is all erasing because this bracelet was on a white background, and so I'm just kind of erasing all of that. And now obviously some of the bracelet goes underneath, so I'm going to actually erase this section right here. And I got to do it on both layers, because that would go underneath her wrist. Okay. Now if I zoom out, you can see it's starting. Now obviously this right now is too big. Okay. So what I would probably do, and obviously I would have done this sooner. I was really lazy and should have done it. But you come in. Like that. Then we can actually turn this one off. Looks like there's a little more erasing to do. Right at the front of the mouth here, see it? There we go. And again, we need to erase it off the actual wrist. Look at that. I actually put that piece in there. And you can, other things you can do, so say you didn't like the angle of it. You can obviously adjust it like that. Okay. So there's one way, and that's a very easy way if you find something online and you want to add it on there. Okay. The other way, and I'm going to turn that off and bring this one back up. I need to move it. Oops, cancel. Don't you hate when you do that? You need to go to this one. Bring that over here. Now, if what you're trying to do is actually work on your artist's abilities, what you want to do is just leave your picture up and come in here and start to draw it. And I'm just going to do a quick oops. And I made one of the classic mistakes of not switching to the correct layer to do that. So I'm going to come over here. Looks like I need a new layer. I'll add it. We want to put it on top of her. Make sure, yep, I still got my pencil. Oh, don't like those lines. There we go. Now, depending on what you want the bracelet to look like, I'm looking at this one, right? So I can even zoom in farther. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this layer again. Nope. Didn't grab it. Grab this layer. I'm going to move it over again so I can kind of see it. Now, obviously, when you're this close, it gets really pixelated. So, but it allows me to do things like this. And again, on the wrong layer. One of these days, I'm going to remember to switch layers a little better. There we go. And the underside kind of like this, right? Now, one of the things you've got to do then is erase the skin underneath where your bracelet's going to be. So I'll come in here and erase the skin area. But that's not all I'm going to do, because I'm actually going to switch to the pencil sketch that I had initially, which is right here, and I'm going to erase the pencil section as well. Okay. And then what I can do is I can come in, I don't know what this is right here. It's on one of these layers though, so let's find which layer it's on. It's probably on the shading layer, so I've picked that layer. Yep, there it was. So now I've got just a quick pencil sketch to kind of give me a sense of what I want. It's not beautiful yet, okay? Now again, this is a very small accessory as well, so but we're going to look at some bigger ones here in a second. Okay, and then look at that. You've got a nice little bracelet. You can see it on there. And then you come in, and a great way to choose colors is just use your stylus or your finger, hover over an area of the bracelet, and find the color you want. And I'm just going to lay in a base color, and I'm going to use flat brush. I'm going to start a new layer because I like to do coloring on separate layers. You don't have to, but I like to do my coloring on a separate layer than the pencil drawing, and that's just personal preference. Each of us does it a different way. So I'm laying in a light gray right now. Maybe come over here, see this dark gray down here. Maybe pick up some of that for this underside. And maybe the underside here. Yeah, you can start to see a bracelet taking form there. And then of course this has all these wonderful black spots. So I'm going to find the pixel that I like. I like this one right there. Come over and do... My brush is not really the type I want for that, so I'm going to switch to a soft medium airbrush, make it a little smaller. No, not liking how the airbrush works either. And this is where some of that trial and error that we've talked about over the past several of them comes in. I know Nico's got a brush I like. Let's use his rough texture and just see what it comes out as. Too big and not dark enough. Let's see. There's one. Okay. And the way I'm creating these is tapping in the same spot. Look at that. We're starting to get the bracelet we want. It's got this great, looks to be emerald. So let's grab that color. Right there. Nice eye emerald. Okay. Looks like I need a couple more black spots around this mouth area. Again, this is very tiny, so it's very pixelated. Which that doesn't bother me, you know? That's part of the working working in this medium. Okay? I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be able to do this type of detail in, say, watercolor or acrylics. It just wouldn't be possible. So the fact that I can do it is pretty exciting. I'm trying to erase something, so I gotta find out which layer I put it on, of course. No, maybe it's on this one. Nope. I love trying to find out where I put stuff. There we go. Found a little bit of it. There we go. I want to fix his mouth a little bit. And you can start to see that it's starting to come out. Now, obviously, if I was trying to create this as a finished product, I would take more time. And you can see I've got another one there, the little ball bracelet. And what I'd probably end up doing, which is what I'm going to do right now, is I'd look at that and I'd probably draw it, you know, maybe it's resting up right up against this previous one. So let's just draw some circles. And again, this is just the sketchy part. I've switched over to the pencil outline for the other one. Looks like it's got little metal ring or connectors. So boom, 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 boom. Probably comes back underneath here. Okay, you start to, oh, look at that. That's actually not too bad for the quickness that I'm trying to do this in. Now, what I need to do, obviously, is I'd go back and color this. But you can start to see she's starting to get some detail there. She's starting to get accessories on her. And you can do this, you know, you could do it on her other hand. Let's look at that pendant. Oops, didn't mean to draw on you, sweetie. Sorry. Let's look at that pendant. I'm going to take my layer down here. I'm going to move it up into this area so I can look at it. Switch to pencil. Switch to outline. Zoom in. Keep that pendant in the frame so I can look at it. I love the look of it. And I hate how that came out. I'm trying to do this with a microphone. I gotta find a better way to make this work. But there we go. That's better. Too big. And so one of the things you want to look at as you're doing this is proportions, because if it's too big, it's going to look comical or just not right. And so what I'm doing here is I'm adjusting things. There we go. I'm going to zoom in. Just do my circle. Now obviously I'm modifying this a little bit. Again, I use imagery as the basis, but then I change it because if I just wanted to copy it, I would just put it right on top here. And again, then once you have the pencil, you can come in, switch to my color layer. If you really like some of that, like I love this purple. This purple is gorgeous. She's gorgeous. I gotta find which purple. Let's lay our light purple down first. So let's grab that. Switch over to, let's have some fun. Let's switch to some of Nico's stuff and grab his soft roll, which is really quite enjoyable. Bring it down a size because it's a little too big. And then start to color in this area, and I forgot to change layers, I can tell. So let's switch to the color layer. There we go. Give it a little more opacity. There we go. There we go. And then I can come and maybe pick some of the dark purple area and switch to rough texture and start to do some of the textured area. Oh, that's looking nice. Let's grab this gold up here. We'll start with that one right there. Come in here. Again, a lot of coloring happening. Now, as I say in just about every one of these videos, if I was doing this as a finished product, this is truly is a rough draft. I would never finish like this. But what it does is it gives you the sense of the direction that you want to go. So you can kind of see that I've started to accessorize her. One of the things that our reader asked about is backpacks. Now, obviously, with this character, I don't really have a way to show the backpack. But if if I was gonna just rough out a backpack, let's go sketch. Yep, my pencil. Make sure we're on our drawing layer and not our coloring layer. So we're on that one. But a backpack's gonna sit in here, right? Let's do. I'm gonna switch and actually. This is another way to draw. So I'm going to use Nico's roll and just block it out. There we go. So if this was one strap, yep. Oh, I don't like the contours of that. One of the things you have to think about when doing anything on the body is think about the contour of the body and where it would sit on the body. Okay, so you can see we start to do her straps of the backpack, and then maybe back here we start to see, and again this is me just blocking things in because I'm just kind of getting a sense. I don't like that backpack. Maybe the backpack comes a little lower. Nico, I believe, Nico, the guy who I got these brushes from, just finished setting up a website of the stuff that he's done and some tutorials. He's really does some really amazing work. So you can start to see, we start to see a backpack there, and this, I don't really like it. I'm not happy with it because of the way this character is set up in regards to her drawing. So it's not necessarily something I would do, but you know, it would be the same way to do as I did the jewelry. Okay. The other thing that we never put on her initially, which drove me crazy, were shoes. So I'm gonna come in here and add some shoes to her. Let's see, maybe some. Let's see, come in here. Give her some high heels. What do you think? There we go. And same thing over here. Her and her flat foot. Who drew that? Oh, I did. Never mind. I'll give her nice pointy heels here. Then what we'll go in and we'll grab the skin layer and erase. Oops. Come over here and erase as well. Obviously there are other ways to do this other than erase, but I'm okay erasing. And the other thing that I wanted to erase, which again driving me bad, is this flat foot here. There we go. So now we've added shoes to her too. Look at that. She is all dolled up. And then we could go in and we could color the shoes. Let's make them this pink here, which is, that pink is just such a nice color. And we will, because we're having fun, let's use some soft pastel on it, which right now is entirely too big. So we'll bring it down. There we go. Bring it up just a little bit. Oh, that's, bring up. There we go. Look at those pink shoes. They're just so sexy. She is one sexy girl. There we go. So you can see where, again, incorporating research, which is extremely important. Incorporating, you can either trace or copy, or like I did, just use your images as source images and start to build around that. Okay, so that's the first half of the tutorial, which was the accessorizing. And have fun with accessories. I mean, people wear all sorts of things all the time. Don't be scared to kind of play around, especially on Procreate, because you can always delete those layers, or for me, you can turn the layers off. So I'm going to delete these layers because I'm not using them. But then if I wasn't happy with I could turn off that, and then boom, they're gone. Again, the one disadvantage that I've done is that I erased, which again, you don't have to. One of the ways you can do that is just paint white over top of it, a solid white. And so to fix the erasing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into my paintbrush, grab my paintbrush, grab this color, and then just, you know, color it back in. See? Easy peasy, 1, 2, 3, Z. if I don't make my brush overly huge. Okay. Now the other thing was wings, and I like wings. Wings are a lot of fun. In fact, what you're going to see me create here in a second, I'm going to go back to my gallery because I actually played with it initially, is this right here, and I actually gave her some glass. I was messing around. So let's go do wings on our other one. I'm going to jump back, put wings on her. So like always, I did research, and the wings that I found are these ones right here, which I thought were really cool. And what you're going to find is that I'm actually not going to copy these exactly, but I'm going to use them as a frame of reference. All of this comes in as a frame of reference. And so I've got my lovely lady. The wings obviously will be in the back. So I'm going to find my lady on here, and then I'm going to add a layer, which was added up top here, and then I'm going to drag it down to just behind her. There we go. And if we look at our wings, you can see it, you know, the shape of them here. Oops. My wings are on the top layer, so I can't draw on top of them, of course. So let's move them down. To just under there. There we go. And I'm not in pencil mode. There we go. So you can see we've got some basic shapes going on here, right? Then you got your feathers. And all the way back to the beginning. So what we're going to do is, using that as the basis, we're going to create the wings up top here. So I like this curve here. That curve there is really nice. And then it kind of comes down. Now I'm coming more of a flat down rather than a pokey out down. And then I'm gonna go like that. Now from this point, obviously you can continue to modify and adjust. If I zoom in, I can do that. I can bring my opacity up a little bit and create a little bigger lead. You know, kind of start to really get a sense. You know, obviously we would have, if we look at the feathers, this is one big feather here. And again, this is all my underlayer, my sketch. So here you can do one of two things. Since I've done this on a new layer, what I can actually do, if I like it, I can duplicate it. I'll then take that one and I'll move it. Then I'll flip it. And I can actually set it kind of match. I'll have to adjust it. Obviously, it's in the wrong spot on the layers. Nope, it's not. Okay. But I do have to adjust some things here, such as erasing those. Erasing that section. That's all underneath the hand on this side. So essentially what I did there is I just copied and pasted it into here. Now, from this point on, a lot of this is just detail work. You know, it's sitting and creating each of the feathers as you like on them. And so what I would do is I'd actually grab my wings and bring them up into this area, then switch back to this. come back in. And using that, I would actually not duplicate, I'm sorry, I'd combine these layers and create a new layer and take the opacity of this layer down. Because I always like I said, I always like to have a quick sketch first. Oops. To like right there. Then we jump back up to our layer 12. And we can start to, looking here, you can see that a lot of these are really small. So you're gonna, and this is, this is gonna take some time. And really, I could sit here and draw each of these feathers to show you kinda. I'm starting with my really small ones. And then you come out. And I actually, like I said, I did this for my sister. And it took a while. But really turned out gorgeous. I'm gonna get, and one of the things you want to look at is how do the feathers flow, right? Because you're trying to capture the essence, especially something like this, which isn't necessarily realistic. And I like to zoom out and look, oh, that's actually looking pretty decent. I'm almost happy with that. Let's see, let's go give some like fingery feathers out here. Kinda. And notice how I'm not necessarily staying inside the lines here. I'm adjusting for what I feel should be appropriate. I don't like that one. Gonna undo. I don't like that either. Bugger. I'm an unhappy man. Oops. Okay. I'm gonna turn off my, and that's actually not that horrible for what I'm trying to accomplish there. Obviously, this is my sketch level. Then what I'm going to come in, as those that have seen me before, is I'm going to create my shadow level. And I'm going to switch to a shadow tool, probably, I don't know, this time around. Let's, actually, let's use Shoddy Safadi's McNutty one. Let me see how that comes out. See how big I am. Too dark. Let's take that down to there. And what I'm shadowing is I'm shadowing kind of the under feathers. And when I zoom out, you'll see what I'm talking about. And I'm not going crazy. Nice and easy. Just kind of where the feathers overlap. And I'm going to come in. I don't like bugger. Did this on the wrong layer. So, oh no, I didn't. I actually did it right this time. So I'm going to kind of, oops. I'm going to laugh at myself because obviously my brush was way too ginormous. Yeah, we'll reduce that down a little bit and kind of pull some of this out.
just to kind of, again, give it a little more depth. I love depth. Come back in. And continue adding the shadow. And I'm just going to do one-sided wing tonight. I'm not going to do both wings because it is late. But I want you guys to kind of see some of this and enjoy it. Again, gonna kind of blur some of it. This is again all my shadow layer. Zoom back out. Just real quick, I want to turn off. There we go. Oh, yeah. Guess I should put a top edge to these feathers. There we go. So you can start to see, and she's starting to get some feathers there. These wings that are kind of fun. Now, you can play with all sorts of things. You can play with shapes. You can play with sizes. One of the things that you could do is once you finish all your shading, if you really like how it looks, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to combine these two. And then what I'm going to do is let's make this a giant wing. Okay, and all I did was I adjusted the size, and then I'd have to go in. Obviously, I'm going to hit undo in a second, but I'm going to erase some of that, and suddenly her wing is much larger. So let's undo, undo, and undo, and undo the combination of the two. There we go. So you can. The great thing about this is if you don't like how it looks, you can then go in and adjust sizing, which I find extremely helpful when I realize that I hate what I've created. And that'll happen sometimes. You look and you'll go, oh my God, that is easily the ugliest damn thing I've ever seen. I really want to adjust that. Look here, for example. Her arm would actually be shading on top of the wing. Then I'm going to come in and, again, there we go. Same thing up here around her hair. There we go. Boom. Okay. All right. Now, if you wanted to and you wanted to adjust some of the coloring, you could. If you felt like you wanted to go in and do some very specific inking, you could easily switch to an inking tool. Either one of the generic ones, which I haven't really inked much, but let's say we wanted to ink. I'm going to bring that up there. Now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to reduce its opacity to like there, actually there, and then I'm going to come in, and when I'm inking, I'm much more careful. Oops, undo, because I'm not on the right layer. There we go. And let's change our color to a darker black. Oops. Okay, and you can start to see, I hate that inking brush. Let's see if we can find, I thought I had one in here. I think it's under inking and sketching. Let's see what we got. Oh, Claire's ink. Let's see how that looks. It's one of my downloaded. Oops. Let's try again. Don't like that. I'm very picky, so I apologize. Oh, that's not too bad. Not thrilled, but it is. And the other thing I could do is actually come from the other direction. If I came. There we go. Okay. So that's an inking brush. You can find inking brush. Different people have done different inking brushes. on the forums. That's procreate.si, and you know, it would just mean looking around and finding one that you like. Let's see what this one does. This one's kind of nice looking. On the picture it is. Oops. It's not bad. Okay. Now, what I probably would do is I wouldn't ink. I'm not an inker, generally speaking, because my medium is generally watercolor. But if you're doing something like manga or any type of comic booky type feel to it, you'd want to ink your stuff in. And there's actually some pretty good tutorials online in regards to inking in Procreate. So make sure you do a quick search. Oh, there we go. It's starting to come out. Again, I'd turn off all the inking and play with that right there and start to adjust my shadows and things like that. All right, I think that gives you a lot of information in regards to doing accessories and doing wings, angel wings. Again, a lot of what I do relates to using source code. So make sure you check out the source code or pull source pictures in, not source code, source pictures that you can then use to give you ideas. Because again, if you look at my source picture, if I turn my source picture back on, my source picture does not look exact. Yes, I know. Cancel. Why must you hate me? There we go. There we go. Come on. There we go. If you look at my source picture, it doesn't look exactly like my wings. It looks, you know, but I used it as an idea. So definitely do that. Definitely do that. All right. My name again is Terry Danage II. This is, of course, the theaterprofessor.com vidcast. If you haven't already, go to thetheaterprofessor.com. Sign up for the newsletter list. I'm going to start really using those come the end of this month when I finish my Intro to Theater class. And if you have other requests, make sure that you pop on the YouTube channels and let me know what you'd like to see, and I'd be more than willing to do some things. I'm having a lot of fun doing these. All right, that's it for tonight. Thanks a lot.